Hello, today we'll be showing my Fiendsmith Mitsurugi deck. It's great for locals. Doesn't have too much competitive standing though, unfortunately. But it's a really fun deck. It's really nice to try it. I'll be showing you guys deck list and a few one-card combos. But first, we have to go through our card of the day. Today's card was released in the set Crossover Breakers. It was part of a rank 4 spam deck. And it is a spell card. If you can guess what it is, put it down in the comments. I will be revealing it next video. Okay, so first, here's our deck list. For the Mitsurugi engine, you've got 3 Habakiri, 2 Aramasa to search Habakiri if need be, 1 Kusanagi, 1 Saji. Then you've got Futsu and Mirakumo. Mirakumo is always one of. You've got 1 Great Purification, this is your Omni, you only need 1. Sacred Boundary to get your grind game going so you can recycle everything. 1 of Ritual, you can run 2, it's just kind of expensive and not necessary. 1 Mirror for the free prep of rights, and just for comboing further on, 1 Megatama. It's pretty good follow-up and it's a nice pop. 3 Prayers, your Searcher. This card should be limited, I'm not gonna lie, but might as well abuse it while we have it. So that's all for the Mitsurugi engine. Next we've got the Fiendsmith engine. You've gotten 2 Engraver. You draw it, might as well toss it in search. 1 Lacrima, 1 Luri, Sanct, Tract, Paradise. Paradise, just a nice follow-up. It's pretty easy to side out. Sanct, in case you draw into Tract and an Engraver. It's always good to have. And then Lacrima is just for more continuation of the combo once you bridge Mitsurugi into Fiendsmith. Okay, next you've gotten Staples, 3 Ash, 3 Droll. This card needs to be limited. It is broken, and it destroys a lot of decks. And it's not just because I'm a Rescue Ace Glazer Trust. 3 Ghost Spell. It's very good. You can switch it out for whatever. I just run it because at my locals, a lot of people play Draco Tail. 2 Nib. It's a giant rock. There's not much to expect there. And 3 Fua. Fua is better than Perulia in every single instance. Every deck in this current meta special summons from extra at least once. And then you've gotten 3 Salesman, just to deal with Droll. Always call Droll with Salesman. 1 Pre-Prep, because I couldn't find the others. 1 Called By, 1 Talent, 1 Crossout. I feel like Crossout should be semied, not limited, because it uses one of your resources, and then on top of that, it also just negates it for both players for the rest of the turn. So it's a pretty balanced card. It should be semied, and that'll deal with the hand trap problem that we've got going. So now I've showed you the list. Just going to show off extra deck 2. And with side deck, I just have one that's specific for my locals because I know what people play a lot of the time. But you can build it however. But for the extra deck, you've got 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, 1 Agnande, 1 Desiree. This is for like an actual Fiendsmith build, not just a slight package to get into Wave King Caesar. I've seen a lot of decks doing that, like the Blue Eyes combo pile. This is like actual Fiendsmith. 1 Excision Knight for the bridge. And also Rextremende. Rextremende is just a tower if you're getting into a grind game. 1 Necroquip. It's great follow-up if you have a lot. 1 Duke. Duke is just, in general, pretty good. You don't need it all the time, but it's helpful when you have it. 1 Garua, 1 Muddragon for super poly targets. 1 Moto, and 1 Typhon. So, I only have 12 cards because I don't have a Wave King yet. Wave King's kind of iffy if you need it or not. It's like not too necessary. It's always a good staple to have. And nothing's stopping you from putting it in. So first, let's go the 1-card combo of Habakiri for a full Mitsu board and full Fiendsmith board. Once I find it. There it is. Okay, so Habakiri. You always want to see this card. It is amazing to have in general because it is one of the most broken cards in the game. I feel like limiting it would do too much. I'd be fine if it was semied. You just need to limit prayers. That's where the problem lies. And that's also where the bridge, a big part of the bridge too. So first, you'll activate Habakiri to summon and tribute. Where is it? Saji. Next, you'll pop Saji's effect to search for Mind the Gap. Search for Ritual. Next, you'll go activate Ritual, sending, and you're summoning from hand. So you'll use Aramasa and the Kusanagi. Now this part's very important, and Rule Sharks will call you out on this. So Kusanagi chain 1 targets Ritual, Aramasa chain 2. So it doesn't really matter too much what you search off Aramasa. You're just trying to search here. So me personally, I just search another copy Aramasa for the normal summon later, and then you get back Ritual. So now what you can do is you can go Ritual Effect to summon from deck, and you want to summon Mirakumo and then tribute Habakiri. Go Habakiri and Grave to search for prayers and summon. Okay, next you're going to want to do prayers for both effects. So how you want to go about this is tributing. So what you want to do here, you want to tribute Mirakumo, activate both effects. So you're going to search your deck for, where is it? Futsu. That's what you want to find. And then you're going to special summon from Graveyard any of the level 4/3. So you've gotten those, you've gotten that out. You do have to pay 800 to the summon. You've gotten this added to hand. Next, you want to go Mirakumo's effect to search your deck. What you usually want to do here is just search for Mirror, summon back Mirakumo, and then mirror off Habakiri for Futsu. And that's all you really need to do for the Mitsurugi engine. There are ways to have all 3 names on board, but you don't need to really. Actually, hold up. I messed up the line there. So, what you can do here is mirror off Habakiri to summon Futsu, and then end on this, which is a simpler version. The lines are kind of complicated. It's a lot of spreadsheeting, basically. But then you want to do that. And this is the quickest way to get into the Fiendsmith engine. You summon Exiton, link it off, because it is a light fiend. Who would have guessed? For Requiem, to summon, where is it? Lacrima, then Lacrima to dump. You usually just want to dump Engraver here. Engraver, shuffle back Exiton to summon. Now, you can go Requiem, equip Lacrima for Necro equip, and then go Wave King, But if you're just running, you want to do the Fiendsmith thing combo, what you can do is do those two for sequence for shuffle back Requiem, Lacrima, Engraver. And this recycles everything, so you will have follow-up for the next turn for the Fiendsmith engine. Anyways, all that for Desiree. Now you want to link these two off, because your opponent is not going to enable a Mitsurugi board. For Agnum Day, then Agnum Day's effect to special back Desiree. And it doesn't matter if it's in the Anima column, because you can just equip Sequence, which prevents targeting. So this is a simpler board for it, the deck. And then on your opponent's turn, you have Futsu to special back Habakiri. And you can just use Habakiri to lower all your opponent's monsters' attack. You have the effect of Mirakumo too, just more stuff. But there's also just simpler, easier ways you can go about it too. That's just the easiest, least step way of getting into it. Now I'm going to show the slightly more complicated one, because this deck is turned into spreadsheets a lot. Also, when playing this deck, don't always expect to just have Habakiri in hand. You can't rely on that. You have to be able to play around a lot of different things. So I'm just play testing, well, showing two Habakiri routes. So route 2, it's basically the same thing, except with one slightly different step. Summon Saji Tribute. Saji Search for Prayers. Now what you want to do for this is you want to activate Prayers and then Tribute Habakiri, and then do both effects. So you summon back Saji. Okay, you summon back Saji with Prayers, and then you search your deck just for any of the names. Doesn't really matter which one. For example, I'll just search Mirakumo here. And next, you use Habakiri's effect in Graveyard to search your deck for Ritual. Now you also have a neat little body on the board, which can be used to go into the Fiendsmith engine later. Also, the more faded the Saji, the better it is. Trust. This is the most faded one I currently have. Next, you'll get Ritual. Tribute Aramasa, Tribute Kusanagi. There we go. Then do your chain block, add back Ritual, summon Mirakumo, and search a monster. For this one, this is where you search your normal summon, so I will search up Aramasa. But because you're doing this step later, you can't actually search Aramasa, which is what I'd normally like to do. But for this instance, you'd have to search another Saji. So just have Saji ready for the normal summon later. Activate Ritual to summon from deck. Summon Futsu by tributing Mirakumo. Next, you'll go Mirakumo's effect. Search Mirror and summon. Next, you'll activate Mirror, tributing Futsu for Habakiri. Next, you'll go Habakiri effect. Not Habakiri effect. You'll go Futsu effect, chain 1 to search your deck and summon itself. Usually just once. And this is where you search your Omni. Great Purification. So when playing this deck, what you want to do usually is immediately shotgun Mirakumo's effect, and the reasoning for that is because it's not a very powerful effect. All it does is just force your opponent to discard a card, but if you're playing against Dracotail, they really like cards in hand, so it kind of limits them. Link off Exciton. Also, you just want to use its effect as fast as possible, so that way you can... Also, this is on board. That way you can use Purification without any drawbacks. And then whenever you use the Purification, don't use Mirakumo's effect to summon itself, only do the search. And the reason for that is because if you summon itself back, you can't use Futsu whenever they special summon to board wipe. It's much harder to do. So you just kind of want to hold off on summoning back Mirakumo until you feel like it's a good time to nuke your opponent's board. Which is what this deck does really well, nuking boards. And I feel like you could easily run a board breaker style of deck with this. Unfortunately, this deck gets a bad rep because of people using Yummy Mitsu. Yummy Mitsu is a problem. Herald needs banned. I love Herald. I play Dogmatica a lot, but that card needs banned. It's caused way too much problems. Just caused way too many problems. Next, I'll link up these two for Sequence. So, Sequence, shuffle back, shuffle back, shuffle back. For Desiree and Sequence, link for Agnum Day to resurrect Des, and then just Sequence to attach. So basically what you've got going for you here is all of your opponent's monsters are stunned, basically. Not stunned, but they have their attack reduced by Habakiri, so what your opponent summons, it'll be harder to walk over your monsters. And then Mirakumo, it forces your opponent to either discard a card or their effect is negated. Desiree's been in the game for a while. We all know what it does. It basically, you pick and choose which cards you want to negate for your opponent. And then Purification is an Omni, plus it tributes Mirakumo, so it'll let you search. And Engrave, you can banish it to summon back. I don't do that because I like to keep the grind game going. So usually off Mirakumo tributing itself, you'd want to search for Sacred Boundary because this just allows you to get into your grind game if you can't finish your opponent off that turn. But yeah, the grind game with this deck is what you want to try to get into most of the time. So that's a simpler board. Now I'm just going to do some playtest hands because, yes, it's good, but it won't always happen. This is a 45 card deck profile. So it is very good, but you're not guaranteed to get exactly what you want all the time, which is the unfortunate part about this deck. So also, here's just my side deck I run. It's just personal preference, kind of, because my locals has a lot of Dracotail players, but other stuff too. So I run 2 Super Poly for board wipes, 3 Retaliating Sea for Dracotail, 1 Wusu for towers if your opponent's running them, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Duster, more board breakers, they're very fun, 3 Imperm. It kind of works as a board breaker. It's a pretty good effect, and it baits out your opponent's effects. And then 3 Evenly Matched, one of the most powerful board breakers in the game, and Dracotail can do nothing about it, unfortunately, for them. Very fortunate for us, though. That's all I really run. It's a 15-card side, all of which very powerful cards. I feel like they could probably expand the size of the side deck. Then again, people would just be running entirely different decks in them, which would definitely become a problem. So let's do some hand tests here. And the reason I run it at 45 is because A, I like having hand traps. They're very fun. And B, there's a lot of cards you don't want to draw to. Like Fiendsmith and Paradise, you don't want to see in your starting hand. Same thing with Great Purification. It's just kind of a brick in starting hand. The Rescue Ace Dilemma, you don't want to see the traps. So let's do one starting hand. see how it goes. Holy. So, this is not a great example because this is a god hand. But usually what you'd want to do with this deck is start off with Engraver's Effect. Right? Because when you start with Engraver, you've got pretty good things going for you. And then Engraver, off that, you want to search watch it be at the top. There it is. Tracked. Next, you'll activate Tracked and search for Lurie. There's Lurie. This card Lurie, summon. Now this gives you a lot more options because I also want to find myself a Gallant Granite. It's just a powerful card to have. So you want to link off your Lurie, Requiem, Requiem. Where is it? You want to go Requiem effect for Lacrima. Now, because you already have an Engraver Engrave, this is where you can Lacrima, dump not Great Purification, the other trap card. You can use Lacrima to dump Fiendsmith in Paradise. It's just more follow-up, and it lets you send a Fiendsmith from deck or extra deck to graveyard. So what you can do with this, you can send Rextramende. And then what Rextramende does, it allows you to add a Fiendsmith card from grave or banishment back to your hand. So, for example, if you were to banish Tracked, you could just add that back. It's just lots more follow-up. So, Lacrima Crimson Tears. Next, you'll Engraver, shuffle back Lurie for the usual line. Summon, link, sequence, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle for Desiree, link for Agnum Day. And the thing about Agnum Day is it can also be used to dodge Nib, I guess, because if you were to proceed to end phase, it's a quick effect where it summons back Engraver and summons back Desiree and equips itself to the Desiree. It is a quick effect, so you could just shotgun that during your opponent's turn. But it's better to have the targeting protection against impermanent stuff, so that's why I do it on my turn. And either way, your opponent can nib you, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so with this, next, I'll activate Habakiri. So since I've already gone into the Mitsurugi stuff, I've already gotten my Fiendsmith board established. I won't need to do much more Fiendsmith stuff. So summon Saji and tribute him. Now off Saji, you can search whatever. I'm just going to search Great Purification. Makes life easy. And Great Purification, solid card. It's the Omni. Next, I'll activate Ritual. And because this hand has two of the monsters, it makes life easy. So you're going to tribute your usual Kusanagi Aramasa. Add back the Ritual, search your deck. Now, what I like about this hand is it allows you to go into Dynamoto. So I'll search up Saji. Next, you can just normal summon Saji. It doesn't matter too much. And then Habakiri summoned. Next, Ritual. For... where is it? The one and only Mirakumo. And this is gone. Also, you tribute Habakiri. Habakiri effect for Mirror. Mirror is added to hand. Habakiri is summoned. Next, you'll go Mirror, tributing Mirakumo for Futsu. Mirakumo effect, search and then summon itself. So because you already have Purification in hand, what you would want to search here would be the Magatama. So what this does, it gives you a destruction, on-field destruction for one face-up card your opponent controls. And then it also tributes a Mitsu monster, which is pretty helpful. So then you'd want to normal summon Saji, link, and you can link into Dynamoto here, which is what I will do. And then Dynamoto, you don't use its effect on summon because that'd be a waste. Next, you set Magatama, set Purification with Nib in hand. This is an insane board. It gives you Desiree's ability to negate face-up cards, Dynamoto to quick res Mirakumo and board wipe. You have Futsu to summon whenever. You have Magatama as a pop, and then you have an Omni. And then Mirakumo's additional effect to force out a discard. This hand is insane. So I'm just going to do one more test hand, and then that'll be it. And also, if you draw more Fiendsmith stuff than Mitsu stuff, I'd recommend going into Gallant Granite, because that just gives you Nib. And once you've used Desiree, you're free to Nib whenever, because it's I feel like Nib is a very fair effect. Unless you're playing Mitsurugi, then it's not. So let's do one more practice hand, and that'll be all. Wow. So this hand, you're going to have to focus on the Fiendsmith stuff, because this hand it has personality, I'll say that much. So if you're wanting, what you're going to want to do here is normal summon Lacrima, and then you're going to Lacrima to dump. Who would have guessed? With this hand, you can just dump. Where is it? Dump Fiendsmith in Paradise. Might as well. Luckily, you do have hand trap protection, so next you'll Lacrima Link. For Requiem. Now, if your opponent ashes, I would just cross out here, because this is the only real part that people ash. For Engraver. Now, from here, Requiem, attach, Link, Contact Fuse for Necroquip. Now, what you do from here is really meh, doesn't matter too much. What I would do is Lacrima. I would go Engraver effect to shuffle back Lacrima to summon itself. Then here's where you can go into Wave King Caesar. Like, for a hand like this, Wave King Caesar is very powerful, because you already have lots of other stuff. But, because I don't currently have Wave King Caesar, what you would dump another Engraver instead of Paradise. And that's basically all there is to this hand. But, I wouldn't recommend investing into Wave King Caesar for this deck. It's a very powerful card, and it's a summon negate, which is very good against Draco Tail. Draco Tail has been very problematic recently. Or at least for me, it has been. I just don't like the deck. Something about fanning out your graveyard and picking and choosing, just sculpting your hand to make your opponent have a bad day. It's just not as fun to me. I don't know why. But yeah, that'll be all for the video. See ya.